Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. It's been a very good day. Long day, but very good day. Started at 4:46 this morning. I woke up. I didn't actually crawl out of bed till 5:05, but I knew I was going to church with my uncle. So the way I like to do things is, of course, as you guys know, in my morning routine, all my squats and all that different stuff, and eat and shower, and then walk to the train station. So my thinking was, if I get up at a reasonable hour, like let's say 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'm gonna be late because I have to be at the church at 9:45. And so, be given the fact that I walk to the train station takes an hour, and then it's gonna take about an hour and some change to get to the church, and my routine takes about an hour, it all divvied out to me needing to be up by like 5:15. And so I made sure I was up before that to give myself some leisure time. So I've been up. I'm very, very sleepy, but it was all worth it, man. Had a great church service. We had a reoccurring theme go on where we kept hearing the same message over and over again. My uncle also got up at 4:30 in the morning trying to do the sound work for his church back home in the East Coast, which starts at like 7:30, which means he had to be up at 4:30 to help them with that, all the way over here in California. The message they were putting in that sermon was a similar message to the message that we heard in our sermon here at a different church. And then that same message was reaffirmed in a few words by a dude we randomly saw at a church's chicken. He was telling us the same message we had heard at church. He had told us the same message we had heard at my uncle's church earlier in the morning. So yeah, that was a reoccurring theme. And then we had two more messages that more or less came to us 2 or 3 different times throughout the course of the day. Very, very anointed stuff. Very anointed stuff. So that was the theme of the day. Went to the church for the first time in like 4 years and kept hearing the same messages over and over again. The Bible study had the same message as one of the church sermons. It was a lot of that going on. But we had some good food, man. The church's chicken was delicious. And then we went to a place called Dulon's Soul Food Chicken Spot on Manchester. Very famous. I encourage everybody, if you're in the Inglewood area, go to Dulon's if you get a chance. They give you a lot of food for what you're paying for. It's pretty expensive. I think they've raised the prices quite a bit. I bought some oxtails, and my uncle, I believe, had some, I'm not sure what he had. Honestly, don't remember. But my oxtails were delicious. I think the only thing was I didn't really love the yams that I had, but the cabbage was good and the oxtails were amazing. So yeah, man, encourage people to go check them out if you're in town. And yeah, it was a good time, man. Really good time with my uncle. We had a full day, man. Did some things, ran some errands. Found ourselves at Fox Hills Mall. I think that, yeah, Fox Hills Mall. Looking for some stuff for him and his wife, and then found ourselves at another place too. So we just did a whole outing today after church. Sat down, watched a little New Jack City, the end of New Jack City, and did Bible study. Which was also really, really cool because I was able to see how he sets up the Bible study. He's the one that does the sermons for our Bible study and then kind of gives us things to read and stuff like that. But it's usually him doing the preaching. So I was able to see how he has it set up on his laptop and everything. So that was really cool to be able to be in person after like 2 or 3 years of being on the Bible study with him. This was the first time I actually sat next to him in person while it was going on. So that was really, really cool. And the day went well, man. The day went well. The food was good. Company was good. It was just me and him. His wife was with her family as well. So it was just me and him at church, me and him all day long. And it was great, just like it was Christmas Day, but even better because we weren't mourning, you know what I mean, like we did during that situation. But today was great. Today was one of the better days that I can remember in recent memory. So that was wonderful, man. Me and my uncle bonding and you know, going to church. We looked for some apartments as well, and we'll continue that process tomorrow. I got an understanding of the budget. So based on what it is that the budget is, I think there's a damn good chance that we're going to be able to find something for me. So I don't know if I'm going to be in the Studio Lodge Hotel much longer, because with what we're talking about, it looked like the listings kind of had some really nice places based on what it is he's willing to do. So, you know, we'll see, man. We'll see. Tomorrow we'll get some more links from my homegirl B. She's gonna send some down, and then we'll use the links we have and just try to call around, see what we can set up, and then maybe go check some stuff out on Tuesday. I know he has to fly back on Wednesday, but at least we can have the groundwork in place for what we want to do in regards to finding an apartment. So yeah, man, hopefully everything falls in place for that. What else is going on today? And then after I departed ways with him, got on the train, had a weird situation on the train just now with a brother who had gotten on the train on the last few stops. He got on the train. I guess it seemed to me that some girl had caught his eye on the train. But this is a brother who he appeared to be homeless. He had on a face mask or a bandana over his face. Super G'd up, eloped out, whatever you want to call it. But he appeared to be homeless and really turned up on some drugs. And he pulled out some type of sharp pin looking thing, like one of them big long I'd say it was like a hammer, a nail. It looked like a long nail, like a very long nail. He pulled out, and I guess he was using it to cut open his blunt, and he showed it to some random Mexican dude, and the random Mexican dude kind of looked at him like that. And at one point, it was one of those situations where he started off at a certain part in the train. The girl got up, moved away from him. He followed her and sat down where she was standing. It was really creepy stuff he was doing around this girl. And I just kept telling her, like, with my eyes kind of looking at her through the side window, like, look, I'm seeing all of this. He got off the train. When she tried to get off the train, she got back on the train to double back to get away from this dude. He hopped on the train after she did that. I'm like, all right, this dude is tripping. And so that was a weird little moment as well. He ended up before all of that happened, he turned his attention to me. Not long after he showed the nail to old girl, to the dude or whatever, I thought it was a damn good chance that he was going to use that nail to hurt somebody. Honestly, the way his movements were, he was walking around there like some kind of gangster ninja. I don't know what was going on in his head. He probably was off of something wet. Yeah, to make a long story short, he ended up turning his attention to me. And, it was one of those situations where I'm coming from church, I'm prayed up, I'm in a different space. I'm not trying to be cool, I'm not trying to be tough. I've been hanging out with my uncle all day, you know what I'm saying? My energy is church, Holy Spirit. Like, I'm not with him on none of his posturing, nor am I scared of what he's doing, nor am I amused by any of it. So I looked him in his eye like, what, bro? I was like, what is it? And it was something, I don't know if it was something in my eyes that triggered him, but after he looked at me, he started tripping. Like, he was sitting in the chair in front of me, and he started throwing up gang signs, started throwing his middle finger up, but not in my direction. And he kept bending down underneath the chair and then looking back up at me to see if I was still looking. I was like, this dude is really, like, something in my eyes scared him, is what I took from it. It scared him, because he came at me as if he was gonna get angry at me, like he wanted to do something. And I looked back at him with a certain look, like, bro, I'm just as crazy as you, like, just in a different way. And I think he understood that and just he didn't react well to it. So after he finished wigging out, he did the whole thing with the girl, back and forth. Eventually she got back on the train. I don't know if he thought she was gonna double back and get off the train to get, or whatever, but the train started taking off with both of them on it. He runs over to the door and pulls the lever to get the door open. The train had already started moving, so the conductor stops the train. He gets off the train and then goes into the elevator at the train station he was at. But he was essentially trying to chase this girl off the train. Like, he was trying to literally stalk her. So she ended up staying on the train. She was trying to actually get off where I was getting off, North Hollywood, but this was like maybe 7 or 6 stops back. She was just trying to get away from this dude. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That was what I can legitimately say was he was definitely off some serious drugs, but from a spiritual standpoint, that dude was wicked. Like, some people are just drugged up out of their mind. Other people are evil and drugged up out of their mind. He was both. Very, very, very evil energy exuding off of that man. And I think I was his polar opposite, to be completely honest with you. I was in a space where I'm like, bro, my faith is so strong and I've been living in a space of holiness so all day long that whatever your energy is, I'm going to match it. Somehow I'm going to match it. And so when he looked at me, I looked back at him, but it was a certain, like, just like I described to you guys a long time, well, not a long time ago, maybe about 10 or 12 videos ago, maybe even more than that. I had a dream of some sort where a demon tried to attack me, but I looked at it and I told it, you're nowhere near as strong as me. And I ended up having a whole dream where I ended up picking up the demon and throwing it into a picture. Remember what I was telling you about? It was the same energy. That was the energy I had with old dude. He reminded me of that demon in my dream, and I reminded me of the version of me that was in the dream. That's what that felt like. Well, like, whatever you think you are, you ran into something stronger than you. Whatever that ninja crazy you got going on, mine is crazier than that. I just am. And so whatever you think you about to do here to her or me or whatever it is, believe me, bro, if you try to match energy with me, we're gonna both crash out. Whatever gonna happen, gonna happen. That was how I felt. That was exactly how I felt. And as I tell you guys, man, a lot of times when it comes to certain things that should scare me, I am not afraid of. It's the things that I ain't got no business being afraid of that I often find myself afraid of. Not human beings that are crazy, who look like they're gonna murder people. I'm not afraid of that type of stuff for some reason. But or Zionist entities that want to massacre children. I'm not afraid of none of that. I'll talk about all that all day. But when it comes to like certain things that break my routine or whatever, suddenly I'm like, nah, I'm bashful to it or whatever. My psychology is weird. And so I'm wired for stuff like this. Just like I was wired for that situation in Hollywood and Highland. Now, that don't mean I'm the toughest guy in the world. That don't mean I'm trained for what it is that I'm not afraid of. It just means that when it comes to people trying to stalk people or intimidate people and stuff like that, I've yet to run into somebody who scares me with that energy. I've yet to. I'm not testing the universe. Like I said, I don't want that energy around me. I'm not looking to meet my match or nothing like that. I'm just telling you with the interactions that I've had in those type of situations. I've already had, 2 of those this week. Didn't bother me at all. Neither one of them type of situations bothered me, man. It's just, I just feel like the Lord made me wired differently when it comes to this type of stuff, man. And one of the things that we're talking about in church today was aligned with a mission that I heard, not a mission, but a message that I heard is what I'm trying to say. That essentially says something along the lines of, the Lord is trying to get us all not to be scared of things that ultimately are meant to terrify us. We are supposed to apply our faith to those circumstances. And as we apply our faith to them circumstances, the more calm we are in the presence of being attacked or whatever it is that's ultimately bothering us, the more likely we're going to find ourselves in righteous situations that allow for us to handle those things calmly and ultimately be able to win in those battles. And that's really what it's about. Here you go, brother. You drop this, man. You drop this, bro. And when you find yourself in a space where you've faced your fears, I don't think I'm wording this correctly. I got a little distracted there, forgive me. But you want to face your fears with a calm space. You want to face attacks with a calm space. You want to face war with a calm demeanor. You don't want to approach it panicked. You want to lean on your training if you're a soldier. But the most important thing is your demeanor, to not do crazy behaviors like move around like the Tasmanian devil when situations are chaotic around you. You want to be calm and present when chaos is around you, so you can handle yourself the best way you can in the presence of that chaos. And so that's what I was trying to word. I got a little distracted, but the point is, that's kind of how I feel like I am in situations like that. Dude was intimidating an old girl, trying to intimidate everybody on the train, and I was just extremely calm and extremely dangerous. Basically the energy that I was exuding. They're like, look, there could be something in this bag. There could be something that could hurt you here. I might be trained a million different ways to be able to neutralize whatever you are. So if you're gonna come at me with whatever this crazy is, do understand how much danger you could potentially be in. Like, that's the energy the Lord put in my spirit. Don't mean that's true. It just means that he wasn't gonna be able to tell the difference. And that's exactly what it was. I think he sensed that. He sensed he was in the presence of something that could potentially be as dangerous as he wanted to be. And he ended up getting off the train not too long after that. He didn't stick around to see what else was going to happen. And so that was really what it was. He went from trying to intimidate everybody to not really knowing what to do with himself, is essentially what I'm saying to you. He went from stalking everybody on the damn train to hiding underneath the seat, peeking his head up, throwing up middle fingers and gang signs, but not really doing all that same stuff no more. And that's what it really came down to. The energy went from, I'm the big bad wolf, to, I'm not really sure about myself, but I'm still going to put on the front. It's like, bro, if you don't get your little ass off this train, it could be bad for you. And I think everybody else on this train that I was around, they were kind of like stunned, almost like they were paralyzed. Nobody was moving a muscle. It was that kind of thing, because he had everybody really spooked. They saw that sharp thing he had or what have you. So to me, it looked like he was going to try to stick that girl, to be honest with y'all. If I was anticipating anything, it was him trying to poke her with that. Because he really did come off as one of them type of crazy killer-like dudes. Like, he was really stalking her around that place like a damn killer. And so my thinking was, well, if he gonna try to stick her with this, I need to be quick enough. I need to be quick enough to be able to stop him from doing so. And I was close enough to be able to push him off of her or what have you. But it was like, what is he gonna do with this thing? That was really what it was. And so it was a lot, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was a lot. It was not safe. None of that was safe at all. He was crazy. I'm crazy. It's a lot. But God is with us both, man. God was with me and God was with him, because if he would have tried something like that, we would have seen a real crash out on the Bdf crash out mission. I would have definitely lost my mind in a very, very demonstrative way. And so I'm just thankful the Lord doesn't allow me to be trained as like a Marine or something like that. That's because I was not wired to be that. That's what I really think about. I was hanging around my uncle today. He's military. My grandfather military. My father was military. My brother's military. I'm glad that I didn't take that path, because I think there's a spirit in me that's already wired for certain things like this. So if I'm trained for certain stuff like that, I probably will end up crashing out or doing something stupid that I have to figure out how to get around. So that's why I'm like, yo, God, thank you for just not making me a tough guy, because as is, my spirit is already crashed out, to be honest with y'all. It's always kind of has been. My mom was like that too. She's got like an inner crash out, if I'm being honest with y'all. But it's subtle. It's subtle. And it's a lot of prayer attached to it. So I don't find myself being somebody that's like looking to intimidate people. The last time I went around with that type of energy, it didn't go well for me. So it's not like I respect that energy in any way within myself. But, you know, when I feel like somebody's trying to harm somebody that I feel is weak, I immediately turn into somebody who expects himself to be able to protect that person. And I don't know why. It's just in me. That's just a natural trait that I found that I have. That's come up every once in a while when certain situations take place. And so you tell me what that is, man. What part of my psychology is that? I don't know. You tell me. But whatever the case may be, that's kind of how my train ride went. After he wigged the hell out, he got off the train. And that was that. And once again, I find myself being the person that hits the button on the door to close the door. It's the second time somebody crashed out in their own way in front of me, trying to get off the train while it's moving. And I always end up being the guy that closes the door behind their ass. It's the second time that's happened this year. So yeah, that was another one of those. But as I try to tell you guys, man, There are a lot of things out here in these LA streets that don't make a whole lot of sense. People are mentally ill, people are drugged out of their mind, people are fiending and haven't had a chance to get their fix. Like this crazy person that tried to run me over, get into the damn Stimsy. I get it, bro. We all like weed, but damn, seriously, are you fiending that hard that you gotta run somebody over? Anyway, that type of energy to me is just what we have to continue to guard against if we live in these inner cities. For those of us who don't worry about it. But for those of you who are wealthy, who can afford security, don't worry about it. But for those of us who don't, we just got to be out here with all the elements, who got to walk amongst the crazies and the poors and all of that. It's a different world for us, man. It's a different world for us. We don't have the ability to afford the ability to be able to avoid the random crazies that are in this world. We're just out here with them. You know what I mean? That's really the truth, man. And look, I'm a bald-headed black dude. That gives me some defense, at least as it pertains to my appearance to a degree. But like little women, young women, they have to be out here too, man. And I really think if I were a father of a daughter, I would want my daughter to have some self-defense training. I want my daughter to know her way around a weapon. Seriously, man. Seriously. Because that's the first thing I was thinking is like, man, if he and her were out in the street, he would stalk her all over the place with that poker. Like, I'm telling y'all, there wasn't nothing normal about his energy toward that woman. Nothing normal about his energy toward her. That was a stalker. Maybe even a murderer, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. He didn't give off nothing but that type of energy. Nothing but that. And like, she was out here with this, like out here in the elements with this dude with nothing to defend herself against. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like, man, I would feel so much better if this was an open carry state and she had a weapon on her. That way, when he do all that, she can protect herself, man. And I know we don't live in that space. I know this is California and y'all got all types of laws against guns. And look, I've had a lot of conversations about how I don't think guns are good for us or what have you. But then there's situations like this. There's situations like this. And they got all these self-defense laws out here that don't allow for you to defend yourself. You pop off a gun and all of a sudden you're a bad guy even if somebody's trying to hurt you. It's like, I'm not saying we need to go full southern states, but we need to do something out here in California that takes account for the random mentally ill, drug addict, crazy demons out here. Because they out here, man. They out here, bro. That's what this story really takes me. Forget all that other stuff I said. There's a lot of mentally ill people out here, bro, who are heavily medicated on all types of random stuff, drunk, out of their mind on random stuff, and they might be out on a mission to try to feed their demons, whatever it may be. They may see a girl they like, and what's keeping them from attacking her? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. Should this not be a situation where if for some reason her brother taught her how to shoot and she got a gun and she pops this fool, she don't go to jail for the rest of her life for murdering him? Should not his crazy be taken into account and his attacks be taken? I just feel like self-defense needs to be re-examined in this country, in this state rather. Country, I don't know, but the state, California. And look, I understand why gun laws are the way they are, because this is the land of gangs. You know what I mean? It's the land of gangs. The reason why they don't want you to do anything with a gun out here is, first of all, it's too many people. So if you pop a gun in whatever direction, the chances of you hitting somebody is high. And they've had a lot of these situations out here where gang violence and maybe even non-gang violence has led to random people getting shot by stray bullets. So that's really the science behind not wanting self-defense to be a thing in California. Because if you allow people self-defense laws in California, it becomes a conversation about armed gang members in street wars popping off bullets in left and right in every direction because they feel for their lives. You understand what I'm saying? It becomes a war zone in an environment like this. So for those who don't understand why California has such strict gun laws, it's because we have such a thick gang culture. A thick gang culture. And if you let these boys have guns out here, all they gonna do is smoke each other all day, all night, and hit random people left and right. You're gonna be hearing about babies getting shot coming out of school every day if you let these people have open carry guns out here. That's why we can't be like Arizona. That's why we can't be like the South. Because there's too many gang politics out here, and we done already shown people in the 80s that we couldn't handle that. We were not mature enough of a people out here in California to handle that. I'm just being honest with you. So for those who are like, man, why California got such strict gun laws? Because we got so many damn gangs out here, bro. So many damn gangs. And if you had the history with gangs in your state like we had in ours, and as many people been hit by stray bullets in your state as we had in ours, you would probably change your tune on guns too. That's the truth about California. Gangs are white. So yeah, man, I understand that, but we also do need to start re-examining the idea that we've done a crappy job in our state with mental health and drug addiction programs. Mental health centers and insane asylums don't exist out here. So when you consider that, the likelihood that you're gonna run into a crazed maniac out here is pretty much higher than probably a lot of states because of that. You're gonna run into a drug addict, crack baby out here. It's pretty much higher than a lot of states. And so you gotta take into account that. And I just would love for us to re-examine our self-defense laws and our gun laws and make it a bit more lenient for people to be able to pop somebody who's coming at them crazy like old girl was having dude come at her today. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Or a person like myself, if I'm carrying and see him acting like that and happen to throw something at him, I shouldn't go to jail for the rest of my damn life. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say I'm a felon and I see something like that and I happen to have a gun on me and I fire that gun, maybe y'all give me less time for self-defense or a life-preserving aggression type law. That would be very, very helpful for a lot of people. Because I understand a lot of felons are not allowed to hold guns. I get that. But if a felon saves a little girl from getting shot by popping the idiot who's pointing a gun at her first, I don't think he should go to jail for the same amount of time as he would in most situations. Because he's a hero, and that was necessary, and thank God he had it. And I think that the laws need to be able to identify the whole thank God he had it scenario and apply some leniency to that. So I think. So, that's what ended up of my day, man. I've had a wonderful day, like I said, with my uncle. I'd hate to make it so violent, but after what I just experienced, I was very concerned for her life. I don't harbor any concern for mine, but I felt that I too probably were in danger with that dude around, hovering and lurking like he was. And just because I feel fearless does not mean that I'm made out of steel. You know what I'm saying? That's a real thing. I'll say there are many graves filled with fearless, brave soldiers. You understand what I'm saying? Fearless, brave, daredevils. You got graveyards full of them dudes. So that's what I want to say, man. That's important to say as well. But yeah, man, pick your battles, and just stay prayed up. One of the things that give me the confidence I have is that relationship with God I keep telling y'all about. My uncles and I both saw the Holy Spirit today in the form of those messages continuing to reaffirm in our lives. I don't know how often that happens in his life, but it does. It happens in mine a lot. And I think he was able to stand next to me and in some way see how the Holy Spirit works in the timing of my life all the time. And I hope if he reads it that way, he'll know how much of a relationship with God I already have. Because he and his mother were both concerned about, in different times, about my relationship with God. And my relationship with God is extremely strong. It's tighter than it's ever been. And I'm more obedient and more close to God than I've ever been in my life. Not to say that I can't get significantly closer, but I think that he still believes that my spirit is dull. And it's only because he doesn't know me that well. That's really what that comes down to. So yeah, man, that's what that comes down to, in my opinion. But you know, I want people to have a fantastic summer, as I've been experiencing a lot. I leave a lot, if not everything to God, and just be cool with his choices in my life, and ask him to help me with the temperament in the time being. I'm thankful I was able to get where I was going today on time. I'm thankful I'm still alive with the type of day I've had. It's been a blessing. I'm thankful that my stomach's reacting well to the food I eat. We'll see how it goes throughout the course of the next 2 days, because some of that stuff probably had some stuff in there that I was a little allergic to, if I'm just being honest with myself. So we'll see how my stomach handles all of this. But you know, I prayed over it. I enjoyed it, and I told my uncle, look, if I'm sick tomorrow, I just won't go anywhere. But I feel great right now. We'll see where it goes from here. Reaching a milestone on my exercise program tonight. As far as my stomach crunches, we are 399 tonight. So tomorrow I'll be starting the 400s. You know, stuff like that. It's not important, but it is to me, because I know where I started and how dedicated I've been, and how dedicated I intend to continue to be. And so these are the type of things I hope to continue in practice, and encourage everybody to take care of themselves. Even when you're over 40, you can still move yourself toward having the best possible progressions in your exercise and in your eating habits. So that's what I want to encourage y'all to do. Take care of yourselves. So yeah, that's what it is, man. I'm very thankful for the day I'm having. I got a playlist that I made last night, the K-List 418. I have yet to do art on that. I don't think I'm gonna do it tonight, but keep a lookout for that. That's coming. And that's really where my head is, man. Very thankful for God, man. The Lord works in very mysterious ways, and if you get closer to him, he will align you with the timing of everything he wants you to have. That's the message that I'm just gonna give you at this moment. Everything that he wants you to have. There are two things he can give you: that, and the temperament to be patient while you're waiting for it to come your way. That temperament is important. Because a lot of us struggle with patience. We try to force things. As I've mentioned before, sometimes you want things, you ask God, maybe you get confirmation it's for you, but this ain't the right time for it. So now that you know you have the right thing in your midst, you try to nudge yourself closer to it, but it's too soon. You're not ready for it. It's not ready for you. It doesn't mean that it's not right for you. It just means that it's not time. And that you have to ask the Lord for the temperament to allow him to take his time, and you be patient and wait for it to come your way. That's a very difficult thing for us as human beings who know we don't have a lot of time in life, who know we're getting older, who know whatever the heck we think we know. At the end of the day, you're on God's timing, his clock. It's also another thing that ain't got nothing to do with that I wanted to say. You know, this morning I woke up at 4:30, and the thoughts that came to mind when getting up were not positive. Naturally, my head was on some bull crap. Naturally, my head was telling me that I was doing things that I didn't want to do, that I was tired, and I wasn't going to have a good day because I'm getting up early and all this different wolfing. But the thoughts that came to mind immediately was, you set the tone for your day. Are you doing something that you prefer not to do? Getting up early, yes. Going to church, you didn't want to, oh fine, yes. But what are the words that you're saying in reaction to what it is that you're doing? Because discomfort can be discomfort, but are you compounding your discomfort with complaints and whining and unhappiness and confirmation of what's to come, which is you're not going to enjoy it? Or are you giving your thoughts to a more positive way of looking at it? Are you lending your thoughts to the idea that God can change your mind about it, whatever it is you're complaining about? Or just allowing you the strength to endure that for which makes you feel uncomfortable while you praise his name? Because if you give yourself an opportunity to be positive in what it is that you're discomfortable with or uncomfortable with, you can set the tone for the resilience necessary to endure your discomfort. Or you can reinforce the unhappiness and let it draw away from your temperament. And that's what I found myself thinking this morning. Like, God, I'm unwilling, instead of saying unhappy, unwilling to allow this discomfort to provide me a discouragement that's going to eat away at my patience and ultimately make me less useful to the positive energy that you want me to exude as I go about my day with my uncle. So allow me to give you a few moments in praise as I admit that this is discomforting, but I also admit that I'm encouraged by the idea that you can change that for which is uncomfortable into what's otherwise doable. And I gave that some meditation, and I got up when I felt ready. I moved, and everything is aligned with the timing of the Holy Spirit ever since. And I don't have any complaints right now. None. And I'm telling you, if I would have stayed on the path that I was on when I started my morning with the thoughts that first came to mind, I would have willed myself into a crappy day, into a bad attitude, and ultimately into not being who I was. For which, when I look back on this day in the future, I will be pleased with. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to tell y'all. And that goes for a lot of different things that we may endure that are uncomfortable. You force your voice to use its words to force the wishes upon a circumstance you want it to be. And for those of us who believe in God, you incorporate God into that and you give him praise in response to your discomfort. And that faith will most definitely convert your discouraged energy into endurance and strength and even happiness as you continue about the process. So that's what I want to say. Sometimes things are so uncomfortable that it's very difficult not to complain. You know, I get that. I've been in those spaces. But this is something that you want to put into practice as much as you often can. And the more often you put this in practice, the more you can apply it under more difficult circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Till eventually you get so damn strong in the presence of whatever would otherwise make you complain that you still praising God when you're uncomfortable. You still praising God when you're in pain. And I was thinking about what happened in 2016 in my life. You know, and I looked at the sequence of things in my life while I was on the train today. I was thinking about this year. My mother died in March. I got fired on my birthday in August. My dad died in November. And I was also found myself in the presence of being homeless in April. I forgot about that. I was kicked out of the condo in April, right after my mother died. Thought I wasn't going to have nowhere to stay. Thought I was going to be living in my car. And then found an apartment that same April, in the same vicinity at that time, out of nowhere. It was so many different things that happened in 2016. My dad's funeral and the scary drive home in the rain with wheel alignment issues and a car that wouldn't start when I was stuck 300 miles away from my apartment after drinking and smoking with my family in the dark. You understand what I'm saying? I gotta not get in my car and the car won't start. Like, so many different things happened in 2016, and I was able to endure all of them. And the strength of the Holy Spirit is what carried me through. I didn't look at those things as I was going through them as compounding issues that kept hitting me. The Lord made it so that I was able to experience all of those things without the presence of the carryover from the other thing. It's very strange, man. And my mom passed away, right? But I wasn't so distraught on my birthday when I was fired to where I'm also thinking about my mother passing. I went through those two things, and my father passed in November, but I wasn't so distraught about my mom dying and losing the job to where I was able to focus on my father passing away in November without the presence of my mom's bereavement hovering over my head. Like, you got to understand what God has done for me, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I had so many things thrown at me in 2016 that if they were thrown at me in any other year, they probably would have killed me. And succession with one another is close proximity of the timing of those things. I don't know that I would have survived that many times, but because it happened when it was supposed to happen, the Lord was able to align me with the strength necessary to get through it. You know, I look at 2024 as arguably a harder year for me. And it was because I didn't have the same faith and I wasn't in the same positive, prayerful space. I was doing things I had no business doing, allowing myself to get out of hand, and then was blindsided by the consequences of allowing that to be the case, which is why 2023 when I got kicked out of my apartment? Not 2024, that was last year. The year before that, 2023, when I found myself kicked out of my apartment, was the scariest year of my adult life, not 2016. And I say, well, I went through much more worse stuff in 2016, but my resilience was worse in 2024. My faith, though I was trying to apply it, was not as strong in 2024 as it was in 2016. And I was in a different spiritual space. And while the things that I went through in both years were extremely difficult, I took what took place in 2024 much harder because I was not walking as close to God as I was forced to in 2016. Because when my mother was going through that situation, I was praying every day. I was trying to prepare my mind for what was going on. I was trying to be as strong as I needed to be for that situation. So it wasn't about me crumbling under the presence of all of those difficult circumstances. It was that I was strong in 2016 to where I was able to handle all of that. I was in a closeness, had a closer relationship with God at the time, to where I was able to handle all that. I had allowed myself to get weak after that. Leading up to 2023, I had allowed myself to get weak. I had allowed myself to get lost in marijuana, lost in my own, psychological weaknesses of wanting to be in isolation, lost in all these different things that were not positive and allowing them to compound, only to be blindsided by the consequences of allowing that to be the case. You see what I'm saying? Doing things the wrong way to where it made me weaker in 2024. So while what I went through in 2016 was much more difficult, the way I handled it in 2023 was much more strenuous. I was much more fearful. It was harder for me. 2023 was a more difficult year than 2026, despite what it is I described to you. And it was simply because of what was going on inside of me and how I was handling it. Although I was applying faith, and if you go back and watch some videos, I was trying to be strong. I was trying to be faithful, but I didn't trust God that much. I wasn't sure if he had my back. I wasn't sure if he wanted me to win. And it was because I had done enough to make that be in question in my own head. And so that's what I want to share with you guys. Sometimes it's not about what happens in your life. It's about where you're at mentally and strength-wise, to how you handle those things that determine how hard they'll be. Because I'm testament to that. I went through the worst crap in the world in 2016 and went through it with basically no sweat off my back. And then went through something not quite as hard, but very difficult in 2024 and was struggling, struggling hard through it. Very much afraid, very much distraught, very much unhappy, and all these different energies. So that's why I say keep that relationship with God tight. Don't just turn to God when things are difficult, because this is how you have them horrible years. You stay with him leading up to whatever it is. That's how you get through what it was that I went through in 2016. You keep that relationship close, whether you're in a good space, bad space, unhappy, happy, praising God, praying all day long. If to keep yourself so close to God that when the rough times come, your relationship with him is so tight, he just make you strong enough to get through them. You just kick through them walls like they ain't nothing. And subsequently, when you're not strong, you might have something as thin as plexiglass in front of you, and you can't kick it through without hurting yourself because of that lack of strength within you. It's all about that strength within you. And that was one of the reoccurring messages that came myself and my uncle's way today, is that the mental aspect of what it is that you go through And your closeness with God in the presence of those issues, as we discussed a little earlier, will determine how well you handle the attacks that come upon your life. What mental space you're in, what you're saying when those things take place, what your thoughts are. You control that. You may not be able to control how bad your feet hurt, but you can definitely control how much you complain about it. What's in your head while it's hurting? Am I praising God, asking the Lord to carry me through? Or am I cussing, fussing, complaining, moaning, focusing on the pain and not on the praise? What are we reaffirming to ourselves? You know what I mean? So that's ultimately one of the many messages that came my way multiple times today, man. And so give your mind to God and all of your concerns to God. I know we talked about a lot in this video, man, but it's been a very good day, and I wanted to give you a bunch of stuff and give some thought to all of these different things that we talked about. Prayers out to anybody affected by any energy that is not of them, not of God. Protect yourselves to the best of your ability. Ask the Lord how the best way to do that without hurting yourself just the same. And that's pretty much what I have to say, man. Your relationship with God is important. Maybe you don't get it from a church. Maybe you don't get it from listening to me talk about it, but you can definitely get it by going into your own little space and just giving yourself a few minutes to talk to something greater than yourself about whatever it is, and ask him to help you with your temperament. Give him a chance and see, don't he start doing stuff like what he did in myself and my uncle's life today, where you start seeing things over and over again, messages coming your way from different angles, or things will be coincidences in your life. Suddenly you start seeing the timing of things start to work out in your favor, aligned with something you may have asked for in the prayer. This is how he communicates with you that you can trust him. And as he continues to do these things and takes you on that journey, the further you get into that journey, the more you continue that practice of applying that faith, the closer you're going to get to him, the more you'll be able to trust him, and the stronger you're going to be able to get through your years when things are just like whatever as difficult as they may become. And so we will not be able to make an easy life out of ourselves. We can't do that. We can't make everything easy, but we can do is strengthen ourselves so that the stuff that would otherwise be impossible can be manageable, or maybe even, dare I say, easy. It's all about your own strength. So I guess I've blabbed enough tonight. I appreciate everybody for allowing me to do so. Bdf 44, thank y'all for watching.